What's going on, guys? I am Shibby2142 and I have some Star gameplay. Star.
Hey everybody, Star here, what's going on?
This is Team Fortress 2 on the PC. This is CP Granary on my 32-person server.
And first thing that you need to do on a 5 CP map, everyone rushes towards middle. It's not captured yet. First person to get to it usually has a very significant advantage. So I'm rushing there trying to get there as quickly as possible to make sure our team can control it so that the blue team, which is the enemy, doesn't have that advantage over us.
And right now you are playing with a Pocket Medic most of the time, if that's what's called in the Team Fortress 2 community.
Yes, Pocket Medic pretty much is when one medic is pretty much devoted to healing you, but not only are they devoted to healing you, you're devoted to protecting them. So whenever they get in danger, they have someone to run to. Whenever you need heals, you're right there by their side. And it kind of works for both of you guys, but unfortunately there, I wasn't really able to protect him from that. So my medic goes down, I'm chasing down this guy to make sure that doesn't happen again. But we meet up later, we're communicating this whole time, so we have that sort of thing going. The way medic works, if you're unfamiliar with this game, is they can actually overheal you over your default health. Soldier has 200 health and they can overheal you above that. And once they heal you enough, they charge an Uber, which can either give you invulnerability for a short amount of time or make you do critical damage, which is 3 times the damage of your regular attacks.
And right now it looks like your loadout is the stock rocket launcher with 4 rockets, and then you're using your secondary as the shotgun and your melee as the equalizer.
Yeah, for a soldier, when you're playing Pocket Medic, you pretty much need to have that shotgun equipped. If you get rid of the shotgun for anything else, none of the other soldier secondaries have the ability to do any damage directly. So you need that shotgun to protect your medic if you ever run out of those 4 rockets. In a lot of situations you're going to run into, you are not expecting to fight people, but you really have to. Otherwise your medic is going to die and you need to be there to protect them. The equalizer is just standard all around, probably the best soldier melee, no matter what. It does a ton of damage. When you're hurt, you can run faster, which is a ton of help. And standard rocket launcher. The other options are the black box, which will heal you when you shoot people. And by the way, here is an Uber right now. I'm invulnerable at this time. You could see me being all metallic. Was able to get those easy kills because of it. Lots of explosions going on up in here.
Yeah, this is some good action right here. And when you're running around with a medic, usually you'll notice that the medic will be behind the soldier. If he pops Uber, sometimes the medic will rush forward to take any kind of knockback from, let's say, a sentry gun that an engineer will put up. And this is a class-based game where there's 8 or so classes, or 9, and what happens is you can't customize really your whole loadout. So you can't go, you know, the scout body type with a rocket launcher. You have to go soldier then. So that's kind of something you have to note.
Yeah, the soldier all around, if you're a beginner, is probably the best class that you can use no matter what. It's very straightforward, the things that you have to do. You have a rocket launcher, you have a shotgun. Other classes have weird things that they can do where the medic has to go heal people. The soldier is just straightforward. You're going to shoot people, they're going to die, it's rockets. Everyone understands how rockets work. So your duty as a soldier is pretty much to kill people, and it's very straightforward how you go about doing that. And you have very good zoning options where you don't have to get very close to people because the rockets, go so far. So there's a huge learning curve to soldier where you can become extremely good at doing some advanced techniques, but just for getting into the game, it's really straightforward, easy to pick up and learn. So no problem there doing that with the soldier.
And what you got the other kind of Uber. You got the Kritzkrieg, which makes any shot you do, so he was shooting rockets, they were critical damage, so they do way above normal, and usually any kind of critical rocket will pretty much one-hit kill any class, typically.
Yeah, the regular Uber is much better for attacking secure positions where if an engineer sets up a sentry, you really need to go after that, and the only way you can really get in front of it and do enough damage is to have the invulnerability Uber. But there weren't really many people doing that on the server at the time, and when there's more and more people, the splash damage of the rockets with the critical hit of the Kritzkrieg that we're using now is much more effective because you can kill a lot of people very, very quickly, and it really helps for the push.
And
to mention the push again.
Yeah, go ahead.
One sec. I was talking, we had to run here to capture mid. We were trying to get here as quickly as possible, but clearly here this whole time we've still been trying to recapture it. This whole match is a very slow push towards the last control point, which you need to win. There's so many people on here right now that you really need to be very cautious about what you're doing. Make sure you don't die so you can keep up this slow and steady push the whole way through to last.
And what I noticed on this map is the middle takes the longest to cap, and then from there on, the second to last point and the last point, it progressively gets faster when capping. So defense definitely needs to be on his toes. And if you see Star right now kind of shooting a rocket on the ground and jumping, that's called a rocket jump, and it's really useful for a soldier to move around here.
Yeah, soldier always needs the high ground advantage because it is way easier to hit someone with the rocket. If you're shooting downwards on them, naturally you can hit them, you hit the ground around them, they can't, just strafe around it, so that makes it way easier for soldier. Also, you'll notice almost nobody is even trying to shoot me while I'm up here. I'm not really taking any damage. I kind of left my medic alone, but I know what he's up to. We're communicating, so he's not in too much danger. You see, I just jumped down. We're already getting healed again, so we've been working on that. And as Shibby mentioned, the last control point captures almost instantly, and that's because by the time you get to the last control point, they're pretty much spawning. The enemy team is going to be spawning right there. So if it took a long time to capture, you'd never be able to do it. And that's what's up with that.
Right. And you see there, Star rocket jumps, and there are little health kits. So right there, that's a plus whatever amount. That's one of those smaller
15.
med kits. 15. And then you'll see larger health kits on the other sides here. Right where Star was aiming right there is another health kit spawn. So there are ammo kits and health kits on this map, and usually typically
Yes,
on any TF2
I believe
server.
at this point I am desperately running around trying to find some ammo because I ran out. There aren't very many ammo kits on this map, so I had to go and find this dispenser, which was built by an engineer in order to get some ammo back in my rocket launcher.
Right, and if you're looking at Star's HUD, or heads-up display, on the bottom right side is his ammo, and on the bottom left, you haven't figured that out, is his health.
Yeah, health right now, as mentioned before, is 300, which is default is 200, but I've got the medic killing me, so it is 300 now. We are just starting to push away from mid so we can actually get to the next control point, and Granary is kind of a weird map in the way that it's very difficult for the other team to hold this courtyard area. As soon as we got past mid, you can see we're already up at this next choke, which is that door up there. It's really hard to hold this area, so we get through here very, very quickly. And then usually once this point is captured, last becomes pretty easy of a point to get as well.
And you see right here, there's a lot of people inside this little complex here, and one thing that is usually typical in Team Fortress 2 is the maps are symmetrical, so both sides of the map are usually basically 99% the same. There might be a crate or a cone in a different position, but
No, not even.
typically in this map, it's basically symmetrical, so that's one thing to note.
Yeah, my medic there got caught a little bit out of position, wasn't behind me. I was backing up, I saw the danger coming, but he was just like, nah, I'm gonna, stay a little bit forward. So that cost him his life, which is a big deal because they lose their Uber charge, which we desperately need at this point to be able to push in. Because here comes another, an enemy Uber just comes out at us, which is what we're trying to do to them, is get them to move back because we have it. But unfortunately, that's not what's happening right now.
And we have some very nice prediction rockets on the enemy. You see Star leading the target. You see him moving to the left. He'll shoot a little bit higher to get him in the splash, which is definitely a good tactic to use if you're a soldier. If you're just going to go for the direct hits, it usually doesn't work out all the time. You see Heavy. Heavy's a slow-moving target, so you're seeing Star put the rockets right on him, and he's not able to get out of the way, especially when he's shooting the minigun. So that's what it is right there.
Yeah, sometimes it's even a really good idea where I don't believe it happens in this video, but if people aren't even coming out of that door, like right there, actually, I did it. I shot before anyone even started walking out of it. It's just prediction. You know that people are going to be coming out of there. It's the biggest choke point, and there's the Uber. Kind of a little bit faulty as my medic's getting attacked, but it allowed us to get a couple easy kills there. I missed some easy rocket shots, and this Uber isn't enough to let us get through, so we're probably going to have to charge another one to get through here. Ubers are a big mechanic in Team Fortress 2, where to make really huge pushes, you're absolutely going to need a medic there with you to help you.
And you see right there that Star is rocket jumping to move quick and get around the map at ease. And you also saw that Heavy had green flames coming off his hat. And hats are definitely one thing in Team Fortress 2 that it's a big, interesting part of the community that, if you have a certain unusual, which means it has a particle effect to it, you are, then some kind of rank above everyone else, which I
You're
don't really
cool.
agree with, but it's just one thing you have to get used to, and it's what it is.
Yeah. Team Fortress is a game about hats. To quote the Valve blog, this game is not a first-person shooter, it is a real-time hat simulator. It's kind of a big community joke there. And it really doesn't make too much of a difference to gameplay except in some very rare situations. And here I'm actually shooting a rocket at the ground in front of me, which helps my medic charge Uber a little bit faster. When a teammate is damaged and they're healing them, the Uber rate increases a little bit. Once again, was not able to make a solid enough push though to actually get to this point. Killed a few people, but it's still not really making a huge dent in here. You just gotta, keep up with it. We have a pretty solid defense here where we didn't lose any ground, but we didn't easily gain any either.
Right, and like I said before, this is a large server, so 32 persons, so that means typically 16 on 16, unlike a lot of other games. So there's just a lot of enemies everywhere, and you just have to get used to kind of crowd control, which, Soldier is very good at, and with a medic it's even easier, but you just can't take down a whole team. It's just not possible. You can take down 6 people, maybe 8, if you're really just going at it, but to take down a whole team and just be the dominant player is pretty tough.
Yep, some nice prediction going on here by me, and I actually knew that they were going to pop Uber. I very briefly heard the enemy say that their charge was ready, which you can sometimes hear in this game, so I jumped up to that spot. Typically when people are Ubered and they have that invincibility, they get very focused on running forward and they never look behind them, so that's what that was all about. It's pretty much guaranteed that they wouldn't notice me up there, and they didn't, so that worked out quite well. Able to push in here once that's over because they just made their big push. They shouldn't have another one. Unfortunately, they did have another medic, causing us to back up. I try and use the same spot again, but he did see me go to it, so it didn't work out too well for me in that situation.
And yeah, players do give themselves, that's what a lot of people like to call it, where he just explodes. So, interesting little death feature in this game that's usually not in many other games. And Star is flying around here, and then he pulls out his equalizer. So this is the melee weapon, the pickaxe. And it's interesting because as your health gets lower as Soldier, you move faster. So it's an interesting mechanic that pretty much everyone uses because it's definitely the best melee weapon of Soldier to use.
Yeah, it's a very quick way to get to the battle. I was hurting myself there so I can get the low health, so I could rush in as quickly as possible. I wasn't really too worried about it because I knew the medic would be around here somewhere when I finally got there. Didn't instantly recharge my health once I got to the battle, and I didn't want to, stop with the pressure. So even with 30 health, I was up there trying to make sure nobody was coming out because they don't know that I have low health, and if I see anyone coming, it's pretty easy to get out of the way, especially when you have that speed bonus with the equalizer. And here is a big push trying to use the crit streak again, 3 times damage, but once again pretty much denied. They crack an Uber, and it's not going to happen once again. You just kind of got to keep at it at this point because they're putting up a really solid defense, building sentries and everything in there.
Yeah, and it's really difficult when a defense has 2, 3 sentries. It's really got to take a coordinated attack from the team because one Uber, typically if you're not Demo Man, cannot take down multiple sentries that are built by engineers.
Yep, absolutely. I've switched to Demo Man here because I kind of got to the point where I realized Soldier did not have enough firepower, and crit stickies in this game are the absolute, it's just bar none, crit stickies are the best thing I don't know the word for it, but crit Skreeg plus stickies equals awesome. And here are my teammates running in with an Uber. We actually had another one going, so I jump in. I use them as cover for these sentries. I'm able to take them down even though they weren't completely able to do it themselves. Demo Man is very good at destroying them because he can place multiple stickies at once, blow them up all at once so that the engineer can't slowly repair that damage. It's all one big explosion that takes it out.
And with the stickies, you saw Star, he was able to shoot, that's left click, and then you can blow them up whenever you want with right click. And this is if the enemy does not fan them out with, say, a rocket or whatever, it'll blow the stickies away. Or you can shoot them with a shotgun, or you can kind of hit scan weapon and it'll blow up the stickies. So you can't just leave them there forever, just on the ground. And
yeah, here is what I thought was going to be our last push. I thought, this whole time there's been tons of people in that room, so we pop over to use this crit Skreeg. And there was just nobody there, so it was a complete fail on my part calling for that. Not the medic's fault, so that didn't work out too well, but we've definitely made some progress because now we're actually in that room. So what I'm going to be trying to do now is build up this Uber as quick as I possibly can. As mentioned before, Uber faster when you actually take damage. So I believe at some point I'm probably going to be shooting stickies on myself to help charge that up.
So right now, this is the sticky launcher, and then the other grenade launcher that Demo Man has is just the regular grenade launcher, which shoots pipes or pills, what people like to call it. And that has 4 versus 8. And it does more direct damage when it hits someone versus just rolling around and exploding.
Yeah, very powerful weapon, but very difficult to aim. I'd even say more difficult because this is a 32-person server. There's a little bit more latency involved in that, where pipes are really difficult to aim. The laggier things get. And if you've noticed some lag during this gameplay, this was recorded a day right after something called the Hatless update came out, which really messed with Team Fortress 2, so that's what that's all about. It's been fixed since then, but this current day was not so good.
Yeah, after the update, I mean, my game didn't work for a while. It pretty much broke everything, in my opinion.
Yeah, there was a lot of crashes going on, so the fact that I was even able to play was quite good. Here is a very solid push towards last. I believe this is the very end of the match where I'm able to get in there and get a couple good stickies on some people. Unfortunately, I die, but pretty much every time I play this map, I die at last, do a lot of damage, and then it gets capped right afterwards. There you can see we won, top scoring there as Star. My medic was Mr. Sexy, number 3 on the scoreboard there.
So once again, guys, that was Star Gameplay. Links to both our channels will be in the video description. That was an awesome effort as Soldier, then switching to Demo Man for the win. Star?
As always, thank you for watching. If you want some more in-depth gameplay of Team Fortress 2, you can check out either of our channels. We both post the game. It's a very good one, so I definitely recommend you go check it out.
So as you heard Star say right there, we both post videos of Team Fortress 2 on either of our channels. I am Shibby2142. That was Star. Thank you, Pixel Enemy, for hosting us. Very nice of you. That was Team Fortress 2 right there on the PC, as we said before. Thank you for watching, and we are out.